Walking is falling. Every single step you take, you tip your whole body forward, off balance, on purpose, and then throw a leg out to catch yourself before you hit the ground. You've been doing it since you were 1. You never think about it, but it is the single hardest thing to teach a machine to do. Here's the proof. Robots could do backflips on video years before they could reliably walk across a messy room without falling over. A flip is one big rehearsed move. Walking is 1,000 tiny saves per minute on a body that is always, technically, in the middle of falling down. Let me show you why catching a fall is so much harder than a flip. Start with the thing nobody questions. Why is this so hard? A car has wheels. A wheel just rolls, always in contact, always stable. A 4-legged robot, like a robot dog, can lift one leg and still stand on a solid tripod of the other 3. It basically cannot fall over by accident. 2 legs throws all of that away. When you lift 1 foot to step, you're now balancing your entire body on a single small patch of ground, roughly the size of 1 shoe. And a human body is tall and top-heavy, with a lot of weight up high in the chest and head. Balancing a tall, heavy thing on a tiny base is exactly the pole on your palm problem. The taller and heavier it is, the faster it tips, and the harder you have to work every instant just to keep it up. That's the deal you accept the moment you choose 2 legs instead of 4 or a set of wheels. So why would anyone build a machine that way on purpose? Because the world is built for our body. Stairs are sized for human legs. Doorknobs, tools, car pedals, ladders, that gap you step over, all of it is shaped around a thing with 2 legs and 2 arms about our height. A wheeled robot is brilliant on a flat warehouse floor and helpless at the bottom of a staircase. So the bed behind a humanoid is, if we can crack the balance problem, we get a machine that fits everywhere we already live, with no ramps and no rebuilding. That's the prize. The whole rest of this video is the price you pay to collect it, and it starts with the parts that actually move the robot. A robot has no muscles. In their place, at every joint, hip, knee, ankle, shoulder, elbow, sits an actuator. That's the muscle. In most modern humanoids, the actuator is an electric motor plus a gearbox. Here's the problem the gearbox solves. A small electric motor spins very fast, but very weak, and a joint holding up a whole leg needs the opposite, slow and extremely strong. Gears trade one for the other. They swap fast and weak for slow and strong, so a compact motor can produce the brute torque to lift the machine's own weight. Torque is just twisting force, and a leg joint needs a lot of it. But there's a catch hidden in those gears, and it has a name: backdrivability. Push on your own relaxed arm, and it swings. A motor with a big stiff gear reduction does the opposite. It locks, it fights back, it can't feel an outside push. And a robot that can't feel a push can't gently absorb one when it stumbles. So engineers fight for actuators that are strong, but still a little bit springy and backdrivable, so the leg can react to the ground instead of stubbornly resisting it. That single trade-off, strong versus reactive, is one of the central battles in the whole field. That's also why some of the most explosive robots, the ones doing the flips and the jumps, have used hydraulics instead of electric motors. Hydraulics move by shoving pressurized fluid through cylinders, and they can deliver enormous force, fast, in a small package, which is exactly what a jump demands. The downside is they're heavy, they leak, they need a loud pump running all the time, and they burn a lot of energy. So, the field has largely shifted toward electric motors for anything meant to run all day. Explosive power versus clean, quiet, all-day endurance, another straight trade-off. Now count the joints. Each independent way a robot can move is called a degree of freedom, one controllable motion. Your leg alone has several: hip, knee, ankle, each bending in more than one direction. A full humanoid has dozens of these, often 30 or more once you include the arms and hands. And here's the load-bearing point. Every one of those joints has to be commanded in a coordinated way at the same time many times a second, or the robot doesn't gracefully step, it collapses. Which raises the real question: how does it know which way it's tipping in the first place? You have an organ for this. Deep in your inner ear is a set of tiny fluid-filled tubes and sensors that feel which way is down, and whether you're speeding up, turning, or tilting. That's why you can close your eyes and still know you're leaning. A robot needs the same sense, and it gets it from one small chip called an IMU, an inertial measurement unit. Inside are two instruments. One is an accelerometer, which feels acceleration, including the constant downward tug of gravity, so it can work out which way is down. The other is a gyroscope, which feels rotation, how fast the body is tipping or spinning. Together they answer the only question balance really cares about. Which way am I falling, and how fast? The IMU reports that, hundreds of times every second, into the robot's brain. But sensing the fall is only half of it. Now the robot has to do something about it, faster than the fall. Here's the core idea, and it's simpler than it sounds. Somewhere inside your body is a single average point where all your weight balances out, roughly behind your belly button. Engineers call it the center of mass. The rule of standing up is almost childishly simple. Keep that point over your feet. As long as your weight stays above the patch of ground your feet cover, you stand. Let it drift past the edge, and you tip. That's it. That's balance. Walking is the trick of breaking that rule on purpose and getting away with it. To step, you deliberately let your center of mass fall forward, past your foot, out beyond the safe zone. For a moment you are genuinely falling. Then you swing the other leg out ahead and plant it, which moves the safe zone forward to catch the weight before it drops. Controlled falling, made literal. Robots use a sharpened version of this, tracking a point on the ground called the zero moment point, which is basically where all the balancing forces have to land to keep the feet flat and not tumbling. The robot's computer is doing one relentless loop, sense the tilt from the IMU, calculate where the weight is heading, and nudge dozens of joints to keep that point over the feet. And it redoes that whole loop hundreds of times a second, faster than you can blink, over and over, forever, just to stand there. And to close that loop, it needs to feel the ground. One last sense. It's not enough to feel your own tilt. You have to feel the floor. Is my foot fully down? Is the ground solid or soft? Am I actually taking my weight, or about to slip? So the feet and ankles carry force sensors that measure how hard the foot is pressing and how the load is spread across it. This is the robot's sense of touch and pressure, its version of the feeling in the soles of your feet. Combine it with the IMU's sense of tilt, and now the robot knows both what its body is doing in the air and what the ground is doing underneath it. That combination is what lets a good one catch a stumble, feel a shove, and stay up. And yet, they still fall. So let's be honest about how far this really is. Here's the sober part, and it matters. A viral clip of a robot doing a backflip is a rehearsed, pre-computed stunt on a known surface. A single explosive move it can throw its whole body into. Useful work is the opposite. Slow, unscripted, reacting to a messy room it's never seen. That's why the flip came years before the reliable walk. The flip is one save. Living in your kitchen is a save every fraction of a second, forever. And the honest trade-offs are brutal. Battery life first. Balancing means every joint is working constantly, even to stand still, which drains power fast. So many humanoids run only a couple of hours before they need a charge. They're expensive, packed with precision motors, gearboxes, and sensors that cost real money. They're slow and clumsy at anything unstructured. The messy, one-off, improvised tasks a toddler does without thinking are still genuinely hard for them, and they still fall. Push one, hand it an odd object, give it a wet floor or a step it didn't expect, and it can go down. Balancing hundreds of times a second is astonishing, and it is still not the effortless, all-day, don't even think about it walking you did on the way to get a glass of water. So the takeaway isn't that it's fake. It's that walking, real walking, across a real room is one of the most quietly difficult things you own, and you've never once had to think about it. 2 myths to kill. Myth 1. A robot that can flip is basically ready to work in your house. No, a flip is a single scripted burst. Useful work is endless, unscripted balance in a world it can't predict. A completely different and much harder problem. Myth 2. Walking is the easy part. The smarts are the hard part. Backwards. Walking is the hard part. It's tipping a tall, heavy body forward on purpose and catching it, coordinating dozens of joints off one inner ear chip and a set of foot sensors, recalculating where your weight is heading hundreds of times a second just to cross a room. You do it without a thought. Teaching metal to do the same is one of the deepest problems in engineering. Walking is controlled falling. You mastered it before you could talk. The machines are still, step by step, learning to catch themselves. Subscribe to Whambox for more how does it actually work explainers.